Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm Jessica. I'm the Planetarium Director, and with me tonight is one of our students who I will let say hi and introduce himself.
Hello, I'm Braden. I'm a vocal music ed student here at UMD.
So, tonight is our monthly installment of Ask an Astronomer, where we are here to answer your questions. I know we've got one already in the chat, but for anyone else who might have a question about anything, it doesn't have to be astronomy related, I guess.
Oh.
You want to quiz Braden on some music stuff? Put it down in the comments.
Feel free.
But this is our last stream of the year, which
Oh,
it feels
so
weird to
sad.
say. So hopefully we'll have a good one. Well, I know that we do already have a question asking about the aurora and if there is any good aurora forecasts. So I know that the sun, we did have a solar flare, I believe today.
Hmm.
Um, Anytime we have a solar activity like that, especially a flare and it's directed towards the Earth, a couple days later we have an enhanced chance of, well, I guess we have a chance of enhanced aurora, I will say. Aurora can happen all year round.
Hmm.
It's just when you get a flare, you get extra material hurled at the Earth, and that allows for the aurora to be a bit more intense, a bit brighter, maybe seen at slightly lower latitudes. So there's a chance we could have some enhanced ones in a few days. And honestly, over the next couple of years, we're going to see that happening more often because the sun is heading into its maximum, where we're going to have a lot of activity. So we're going to have a lot of bright, beautiful, intense auroras.
Hmm.
Um, and if you're interested in seeing kind of what that might look like from here in northern Minnesota, I believe I have it in the video description. Let me go check real quick. There is a link to our all sky camera, which is situated about
Yep.
3 hours north of us.
So
That we
cool.
run. It's in there.
Yeah, it's in there.
Okay, yeah. So check the video description for that. And on nights that we have clear skies in Aurora, you can see it there. You can also follow us, follow the camera on Facebook.
Hmm.
And we post nightly time lapses. So we've gotten so far some stunning time lapses, not just of aurora either, just of the night
Just of
sky.
the night sky. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I mean, I will say it doesn't beat like going up to like Chick Walk itself, like because that is an experience. I think if you have the possibility, please do. Going into like the boundary waters and seeing some genuine dark skies, it's like a life-changing experience, I
It
swear.
it really is, and like it makes me sad that that's not a common thing in people's
Hmm.
lives anymore.
It's a bummer.
Yeah, but we're very fortunate to have
Hmm.
such beautiful dark sky spots here. So definitely take advantage of them. Or, if you're not from around here, come visit us to take advantage of those dark skies. It's great. um, oh yeah, we had the peak of the meteor shower last night. I believe it was last night. It was cloudy here. We didn't get to see anything. I'd be curious if anyone else got to see any of the Geminids from last night. We are about to
We're,
start round two of our blizzard,
we are
so
we are in a full blizzard. I have not left my apartment all day, except for the little break I took in the middle of the day to go make a snowman with my friends, which
that
was
sounds like such a fun break to have.
it was, and we made a little fort that we're going to continue construction on tomorrow.
Nice.
It's coming together.
Yeah, no, blizzards don't make for good meteor watching,
Not at
unfortunately.
all. Not at all.
All right. Well, while we see if we get any more comments or questions coming in, I know we had a few things that we wanted to bring up. Do you want to go ahead with
Mhm.
yours, Braden?
Yes, because I'm really excited about mine. Here, let me see if I can share my screen.
Yep, you should be able to.
Uh, Here we go. So, uh, the U.S. announced that we had a nuclear fusion breakthrough, which, if you don't know what that is, it's essentially right here. Nuclear fusion happens when two or more atoms are fused into a larger one, and the process generates a, an immense amount of energy and heat. And it was always something that I felt was more in the realm of science fiction than like actual reality. But here we are. It's like really, it's so cool because this could be what this could foretell is essentially just us completely getting away from every other form of energy, and just it could be the start of genuine, clean, non like harmful energy production,
Yeah.
which is something that is carbon free energy production,
Yes.
is what I mean. It is. It's
it's
so cool.
it's crazy. And to give a little more context, so fusion, this was happening inside the sun, right? Down, deep down, very center of the sun, where pressures
Mhm.
are extremely high, temperatures are like 27 million Kelvin. Um, you have the conditions that when hydrogen slams into each other, they stick together and create helium. And in that process, a little bit of mass is turned into energy, which that in and of itself sounds like science fiction,
Mhm.
but it's real. That's what Einstein's E equals mc squared. That's what it means. That
Mhm.
mass can turn into energy, and energy can turn into mass. So a little tiny bit of mass is turned into energy, and this happens, millions and millions of times a second, and that's what generates all of the light and heat and energy that comes from the sun. Recreating that is incredibly difficult at conditions here on Earth
Mhm.
because generally, when you get atoms too close together, especially the nucleus of an atom, both of those have a positive charge. And if you ever played around with magnets, like poles of a magnet push against each other, same thing happens with charges. So
Mhm.
those nuclei don't want to get close to each other. They'll push each other apart. So, in order to make them get close enough that they do actually fuse, you have to get really, really extreme conditions. And so far, in order to get those conditions, we have put more energy in to make that happen than we got out. And that's what's so important about this breakthrough is we actually, for the first time, got out more energy than we put in, which means we could use this to create energy for us to use. It's amazing.
It's like, again, it's the realm of science fiction. It's the like it's the real life, like, like the lithium crystals from Star Trek, or like it's just action. It's We're living in science fiction now, and that is so incredibly awesome. Okay, I'll stop my sharing my screen, but
No, it's
I think
cool.
it's really cool. This CNN article actually has an interview with Bill Nye, with him kind of trying to.
Do you want to pop that in the comments?
I absolutely can.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and also to kind of separate, in case you're thinking of something like, a nuclear bomb, where we get out a lot of energy from that. That's actually a process called fission, which is the opposite. It's where you're taking a big nucleus and you're breaking it apart, and that also can release a lot of
There
energy.
you go. Should be able to just copy. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I
And I
just
know, I mean, as brought up in the comments, yes, this isn't like ready to go right now. There is still a lot, if we can even reproduce it. There is still a lot to actually make this a feasible form of energy production. But the fact that we've even gotten to this step is huge.
yes. I Yes. very much. It's
Yeah.
oh yeah, and I did have I do have the dust devil thing queued up.
Oh, good, because I completely forgot to grab it. I was so focused on other
Okay.
topics that I
Oh my
forgot.
gosh, where's the? I thought I had it. Give me a sec. I had it pulled up.
I remember I was looking for
Is
it,
it?
and then I got distracted by JWST.
Okay, this is it, but it has background music playing on it,
It'll
which
be
is
fine.
not what I want.
Here, let me see
Here
if
you
I
go.
can find
Here
it
you go.
real quick.
I got
Oh,
it.
you
I
got
got
it?
it. I got it. I
All
got
right,
it.
when you share, don't forget to click share sound.
Oh, okay. Share sound. Share. Okay, here we go. We all ready?
Do it. That was so cool.
It is incredibly interesting.
Oh, yeah, I hadn't had a chance to listen to it yet.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Oh my God, what is? One sec. My like chat on my computer right now is acting really weird.
Oh, you're good.
I need to fix it. It's just like appearing really small on my thing,
Ah,
which I don't know why.
yeah.
But you had the Artemis thing as well.
Yeah, so first, thanks, Mom, for that of the Dust Devil because I completely forgot to grab it. And that's because I got sidetracked by two other topics, which was Artemis and James Webb. So Artemis 1 splashed down on the 11th, so a few days ago, after a very successful first run, which is huge. I mean, everything seemed to go smoothly. I mean, we'll get more information back, as they go through the shuttle, not the shuttle, the capsule, um, look at all of the data, what conditions were like inside, because there were like mannequins in there. They were measuring and monitoring what conditions were like inside to make sure that life support systems and things would work. But it's a really big first step to getting us back. Artemis 2, which we're going to have to wait a couple years for, is going to actually have people, and they are going to do what Artemis 1 did. They're going to launch and do some laps around the moon and then come back. They're not actually going to land on the moon yet. And this is again to test systems. We've got a couple years between or until Artemis 2 is slated to launch. And a lot of that is one, they're still building the next rocket stage that's going to propel and get it up there. But they're also reusing some of the stuff from Artemis 1, which is fantastic because that cuts down on cost, right? The more you can reuse, then you don't have to make things brand new every time. But part of reusing means you have to test everything that you're reusing to make sure that it's actually safe to do so. So that's where we're gonna have a couple of years in between, but
Mhm.
we're on good track. So Artemis 2 will have people, and then the aim, if that is successful, is Artemis 3 will land on the moon, and the projection for that is 2025. So we'll see. Um, we'll we'll see what happens there. And let me just bring up real quick because I think this is my favorite image to come back from Artemis. Just a nice little selfie picture of Artemis with the moon and Earth there in the background. And I love it. I think it is, excuse me, it is absolutely fantastic.
That's such a good. That's so cool. That's so cool.
Um, let's see. Let me read this question real quick. Oh, will they have a practice lander as they did with Apollo? I am not sure.
Hmm.
I am not sure about that, but I'm not sure how much they know fully yet. Although that would be like it would make sense, right, to test that while they're also testing going around,
Hmm.
just like they did for Apollo. I will, as we get more updates, I mean, because we'll be talking about Artemis for years, so I'm sure we'll come back to it and we'll have more details about what to expect from Artemis 2 and the future missions. And then,
um.
yeah,
Hmm. I'm
okay.
I'm look I'm looking into the question. Can you consider a future show on binding energy per nucleon, please? And
I saw that question. I think that topic is a little bit higher level than we try to reach for these streams.
I was gonna say like the reading the little the I mean it is Wikipedia, so it's a huge grain of salt there. But reading the article is very interesting. But I was gonna say it's just a bit too, I don't want to say complex, but it's just it that's a bit too much for us, I would say. Also, it's not very astronomy
I mean,
related.
it is and it isn't. I mean, that comes into play with stars
Yeah.
and the fuels that they use at the end of their life and all of that. But it is a bit higher level than we try to
Mhm.
aim for. Not saying that we don't think our audience could understand, wouldn't understand it.
No.
It's just we like to be accessible. I know that there are a lot of families with young kids who like to watch our shows, and
Yeah.
um, I like to keep that in mind when planning those. Yes, you do have an important
Gosh.
point that
Yeah.
the fusion that happens in stars creates a lot more energy than fission
Mhm.
does. That's another reason why getting fusion to work is so incredibly exciting because it you get a lot more bang for your buck, basically. But yeah. All right. I think the last thing I had that I wanted to bring up was James Webb. I feel
Of
like
course.
every day I'm just seeing a new article. James Webb finds again the most distant galaxy, and that changes every day. Which I guess I shouldn't be surprised at, since that's literally one of the science goals of James Webb is to find the most distant
It's a
galaxies and
galaxy.
study them. But one of my
So cool.
favorites that just came out recently is actually the pictures of Titan.
Oh, I don't think I've seen them
You
yet.
haven't seen those yet? Okay, well, I just shared them to stream.
Okay.
But yeah, so
Oh, that's
right.
so cool.
Okay, so for some context, Titan is the largest moon of Saturn. It is a incredibly unique moon because it is the only moon to have a thick atmosphere. In fact, it's thicker than Earth's atmosphere. Um, that makes it hard to study. The atmosphere has a lot of haze in it, which means we can't observe it with regular visible light telescopes because we can't see through those clouds. So far, our kind of study of this moon was from the Cassini spacecraft, which spent a very long time orbiting around Saturn, um, and the Huygens probe, which actually landed on Titan. So what we're seeing here is James Webb looking at it, which it's able to do because it looks in infrared, and infrared can peer through that atmosphere like it's kind of like it's not there. You'll notice that the images are fuzzy. That's because of that haze. It's hard to get a good clear image. And I know I've seen, it makes me sad, but I've seen some backlash over this image of why is it so fuzzy? Why is James Webb not getting, like, why can't it see galaxies billions of light years away perfectly, but can't even look at a moon in our solar system? It's because of the atmosphere. Try looking on a foggy day. It's hard.
Yeah,
Things look things look fuzzy.
and
Um,
like
yeah,
it's just so cool. Like one of them, one of the pictures, like it almost looks like there's a cloud.
yeah. You can
Like
see. Yeah. The ones I have up, they're
so
labeled. You can see the clouds.
so
Um,
if there's
yeah. And
oh
that's
my
the other
gosh, that
exciting thing about this is not only does Titan have a thick atmosphere, it has liquid on its surface. Now,
I was gonna say that
yeah, I say that
that
a
is
little ambiguous at first. It's not liquid water. It's too
oh
cold. It has lakes of liquid methane. But these clouds that we see, they're methane clouds. Titan goes through a full precipitation cycle with methane, just like we do with water. So it rains, then it flows across the surface and creates lakes and rivers and floods, and then it evaporates back up into the atmosphere, into methane clouds, and then rains back down again. It is the most Earth-like without being with while at the same time being extremely different from Earth.
yeah,
Like the processes are all the same. The features that we see are very similar. It's just
just different ingredients.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Different ingredients. It's that's
And
so cool.
I love Titan. Titan is one of my favorite things in our solar system to talk about.
I'm
Um,
still oh my gosh, what's my
oh
brain
no,
is
I mean, look, Europa will
there you go. Europa. I
Europa will
love
be
Europa.
Europa is first tier. Love it.
I
Titan
Euro
is a very close second. Like I love Titan.
there has to be alien fish on Europa. There just has to be.
I mean,
There
yeah.
has to be little guys living there. Little I could talk about Europa for
I know, I
ever.
know. Oh, no, it's great. I love this. I love this so much. And that's
No,
so the fact that it has liquid, right? It's the only other thing in our solar system to have liquid on its surface other than Earth. Again, liquid methane, but still there's liquid flowing on its surface.
hmm
We don't see that anywhere else. And it has posed the question, could there be a form of life that relies on liquid methane instead of liquid water? And that, among many other reasons, is why Titan is one of the places that we want to learn more about. So the fact that James Webb can give us that and can let us learn more about it is huge because we're already working on another mission, Dragonfly, which is going to be a little
hmm
quadcopter. Since there's an atmosphere, we can fly. Percy and Jenny have proven that. And Titan's atmosphere is a whole heck of a lot thicker than Mars's, so we shouldn't have a problem. But it's a little quadcopter that's going to fly around. But if James Webb is able to get some looks at it and pinpoint some locations that we want to make sure that we hit, that makes this mission even more efficient. Because then we know where we want to go rather than just pure exploratory. I'm very excited, if you can't tell.
I've also been following Dragonfly a little bit because it's such a cool idea. Like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
I'm excited. And
Like
like,
like 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 what if there's like basic life on Titan? That could
yeah,
be
we already know that the building blocks are there. Amino acids are on the surface.
there you go.
So, like, the building blocks are there. It's just,
It's just that
does it come together to form life? which is a question we have about the universe in general.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the hardest things in trying to search for life is we don't know how easy it is to go from building blocks to living organism.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We have one data point. We have the Earth. And on the Earth, it did happen very quickly. Like
Mm-hmm.
pretty much as soon as conditions were right, like we weren't getting bombarded by impacts all the time, temperatures had kind of cooled down. As soon as Earth became habitable, life developed and flourished. So,
Okay.
based off that, it should form relatively easily. And this is simple life.
Yes.
Complex, intelligent life is completely different. That took
Yeah.
a couple billion years of
I was.
life
I
being
was.
on Earth to get to that point.
I. I was gonna say simple life is easy, but
Yeah.
like that's why whenever I'll be like with friends and they'll ask me a lot like oh, do you believe like aliens exist and stuff? And I'm like, and I normally my answer is normally yes, but not in the way that you're thinking. I mean that like there's probably a couple of bugs like out there, like little like single celled organisms that are
Yeah.
like floating at the bottom of like Europa
Oh,
or something.
100%.
Like
Absolutely there
like
is.
the
But yeah,
complex life though.
complex. That
I don't
that
know.
took a while. And that's where our knowledge really becomes iffy of how likely is that to happen? Like, if living organisms have enough time, are they always naturally going to become more complex and eventually form a form of intelligent life? Or is it a rare thing that you have to have very, very specific conditions? And we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. I mean, we're here because an asteroid killed the dinosaurs 65 million years ago.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for
And
that, like mammals flourished because the dinosaurs died out.
yes. And like I also like am of the opinion if there is other like more like advanced life, like a technologically capable form of life. Earth is so small in the universe that like why would they come here? And also like
Yeah.
the universe is like so unfathomably big that
Yes.
like like there's not like this isn't like Star Wars. It's not like hyper speed in there. Like in the world where you can just like go.
Yeah.
No.
Well, and there's also just, I mean, we have been putting out signals into space for what, 70, 80 years?
Yeah.
So our signals have traveled about 70 light years. That's barely scratching the surface.
Yeah.
And then there's also the, I mean, it's an inevitable conversation. How quickly does intelligent life destroy itself?
Yeah.
Because humankind has proved that we're pretty good at that if we're not careful. So, how likely is it that intelligent life survives long enough for signals to actually make it to another? Right?
Exactly. Exactly. Like 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 70, 80 years. That's nothing
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of astronomical time.
Yeah. To
And
get to
like
the other side of our
uh,
galaxy, that's, 100,000 light years.
exactly. Like it's
Oh, yeah. He just said what I just said in the comments. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um,
mhm,
that'll show you how much delay is there between when you write and when, because I said it right at the same time you put that up. Um,
yeah.
I feel like this is another topic that I feel like I could just sit and talk about.
I was gonna say this would be a really fun show idea.
I've done a show about life in the universe. It hasn't been quite as freeform as just chatting, but I've been thinking about going forward because we do have our like scripted shows that we run.
Yeah.
I almost kind of want to do not just an Ask an Astronomer, but almost like a, I don't want to call it a panel discussion, but like we just have a topic, like, is there life? And we just kind of chat amongst ourselves and
It's
with our fellow Facebook viewers.
it's one of those things where it's like the universe is so big. Uh how, I guess, how narcissistic do you have to be to think we're the only ones
Yeah.
out here?
Also, I see some Michael Crichton being repped in the comments. Love it. He's my favorite author. Read anything by him. All right. I think we've kind of come to a good stopping point. We'll take one last call for any comments or questions. Let me show you our schedule for this week. This is the last week of shows for the year. We Friday, we've got Adventure to the Edge of the Universe, and then Saturday is Polaris at 2, and From Earth to Universe at 7. And then we are closing for about 2 weeks, from December 18th to January 2nd for winter break, to give everyone, students and staff, a little break to enjoy some time off from school and work and everything. But we will be back in January, back to our normal schedule, streams on Wednesdays, in-person shows Fridays and Saturdays. Like I said, I have some ideas for some new type of shows for these streams. I'm gonna go ahead and tease it. Braden's also got a show he's been working on that we're gonna premiere at the end of January. If you're a fan of the show Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's gonna be great. I'm very
It's gonna
excited
be really
for
fun.
it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna post the January schedule tomorrow, so you can see what will be coming back. But yeah, this is it for. Oh, I see. Nice conversation going in how we define life. That is a full-on
That's
conversation.
not a conversation I'm prepared to delve
Oh,
into at the
I've
moment.
when I teach in my class, when we do talk about life, we have a good chunk of the class dedicated to just what is alive? What does
Yeah.
that mean? Because things like a computer virus
Yeah,
technically check the boxes.
it
Is it
does.
alive?
Who knows?
If you like video games, that's where I'm going to end off. I highly recommend playing Soma.
Soma,
It
such a
does such a good job of exploring this topic of what does it mean to be alive.
it's also terrifying.
It's okay. It is a bit of a scary game,
A bit.
but I love it. And if you're not
Soma's
into
really
video
good.
games, go watch someone who has played it. There's
Yeah,
so many playthroughs on like YouTube
there's
or
enough.
Twitch. It's amazing. I love it. So I'm gonna end there. Soma, yeah,
Soma, that's it. Yeah,
Soma. Mm-hmm.
Soma is great. It's also just a really good like science fiction
Yeah,
game. It's
it's
fun.
yeah, yeah. Highly recommend it, especially again into this topic. Okay.
Hmm.
I will talk for another half hour just on what does it mean to be alive, and I'm not going to do that. So, thank you everyone so much for joining us. We hope that you've liked hanging out with us this year. You'll come back next year. I feel so weird to say, but also completely corny. So I'm going to do it.
Yep.
So enjoy the holidays. If you are in the Minnesota area in the middle of this blizzard, stay safe, stay
Yes.
warm, and yeah, we will see you next year. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.